I did. Hi, welcome to our second webinar in the Lodi Rules Plan Management series. Today I have with us Sarah DeNike, who is Stanton Lang's daughter and also the Lodi Rules Certification Consultant for S. Lang Vineyard. So she has lots of experience writing these management plans, and I don't know if you can see her binder, but it's very organized with all of her Lodi Rules certification documents. So she manages over 30 different blocks, and I'll let her introduce herself in a minute. So hello.
Hi. I grew up in the Lodi area, but currently don't live here. But I manage my dad's certification, Stanton Lang's certification, for the last almost 10 years. Got us into the program and then have kept us relevant. So I'm here to help Stephanie today.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll get started. I'm going to hide our video, and then we'll just be looking at this Word document, which is also available as a handout, which I believe you can download through the GoToWebinar portal. But if not, then you can email me, and I will give you that handout. So here we go. Okay. So in case you missed Friday's webinar on the 3 fall chapter management plans, the Human Resources Plan, the Ecosystem Management Plan, and the Nutrient Management Plan, you can still get a recording of that webinar from me. Just email me and I can send it over to you. Also, if you just want the handouts from that management plan, you don't want to sit through the recording, I can email you those as well. So we do appreciate your patience. This is only our second webinar ever. And please let us know what worked for you and what doesn't work for you so that we can improve in the future. My email address is stephanie@lodiwine.com. I will be out of the country for the next week, so you might not get a response until the following Monday. So, like we said, our host today, myself and Sarah DeNike, and we're covering 2 management plans today. It should be a quick webinar. The Soil Conservation Plan, which is Lodi Rules Standard 4.2, worth 6 points. And the Water Management Plan, Lodi Rules Standard 5.1, also worth 6 points. Future webinars will cover other management plans. We'll have a schedule for that at the end of this talk. So first, we just want to go over some general tips. If this is your first year in the Lodi Rules program, just keep your plans simple and basic. You can make them more detailed and more complicated later as you get used to the system. But just so you don't get overwhelmed, it's a good idea to keep your plans on the simple side. Always remember to put a title at the top of your plan and add in the corresponding Lodi Rules standard at the top for easy organization. Basically, all the plans have you list some sort of visions and goals, possibly the challenges, describe the situation in detail, and then you list overall management strategies. Use the headings in the standard and organize the plan around those headings. That's what the auditor is looking for at first, is that your plan is organized by what is said in the standard. And if you haven't written anything longer than an email in several years, don't worry. Bullet points are totally fine, and actually the auditor said sometimes she prefers bullet points because they're really easy to look at. Always include a section at the end for a plan review and update schedule with lines for dates and signatures. And it's a good idea to review your management plans at your annual managers meeting, which is Lodi Rules Standard 1.3. If you want to make plans that are truly useful to your operation and that are really going to make you be a better farmer, focus on one area to improve for each plan every year. So focus on something that you want to do better and include your plans in employee meetings. Ask your employees for input. Employee retention is really hard right now and important these days, and you'd be surprised at how effective creating a teamwork environment is with employee satisfaction and having them actually be part of those plans.
And one thing I would add to that is if you're managing many blocks, it is really useful to keep your overarching plans generic and put the very field-specific things into just a couple of the plans. That way then you're not managing extra paper. And you can also do things like refer to spreadsheets where if you have yields and fertilizers that you don't then have to go through and update those individual plans each year. You just update a master spreadsheet that the plan refers to.
Great, and that's a good point, Sarah. And if you are like Sarah, doing your certification documents for a relative, or maybe you're doing it as a management team, it's a good idea. Sarah has lots of good tips on organization, and so if you have any questions on how she organizes herself, you are always welcome to get in touch with her through me. And she's kind of a wealth of resource in that. How many fields do you manage? How many blocks are in your binder?
Currently, I think it's 33. We've had as many as 36, and then I've had multiple clients before. So, yes.
Okay, great. And her plans are very organized too. So the first plan today, soil conservation. This is 4.2. The farming operation is aware of the erosion risks of the vineyard soils and has a written and implemented soil conservation plan which addresses these risks and includes the following components: site and soil factors contributing to soil erosion by water and air, best management practices to minimize soil erosion, and a plan review and update schedule. So let's see what the soil conservation plan looks like. Here's just a general example. So again, we have a title at the top and which Lodi Rules standard it corresponds to. You do want to include when the plan was originally written and then when it was last updated. That's very helpful for your planning and also for the auditor. You have a logo, you can include that at the top. So we start out with our goals. In this case, we're saying we value soil as an important resource for our vineyard operation and are committed to managing our soils appropriately and effectively, practicing proactive soil erosion control. And then, like Sarah said, you don't have to list the field specifics in every single plan if you're managing lots of different blocks. So in this case, the field specifics for soil were already described in the ecosystem management plan and also in the nutrient management plans. So it's okay just to state that rather than restating field specifics in every single plan. So just a simple sentence like field specifics are described in these other plans is totally fine. Now, the rest of the way this plan example is laid out, you would not have this plan in your written plan in your book will not have these questions. These are questions that you would think about and then you would answer and put in your plan. So we're looking for the site and soil factors contributing to erosion by wind and water. So what is the soil type for that vineyard block? Or maybe you have more than one. What are the different soil types? Are any of those soil types prone to erosion? So a simple statement such as, our soils, we have sandy soils that are prone to erosion is perfectly fine. What is the slope of the vineyard block, and does it lead to a greater erosion risk? So around Lodi, a lot of people's plans say we have a 0 to 1% slope, which does not lend itself to erosion risk. Does the vineyard site experience strong winds, rains, or storms? Maybe you're in the Delta region and you have strong winds, and that contributes to erosion. Is the irrigation method a factor in erosion? Many people's plans simply state that they are using low volume drip irrigation, which does not provide a great erosion risk. So something that Sarah just taught me before we started was that you can get soil maps downloaded for free from the USDA NRCS Web Soil Survey, and maybe some of you have already done this. So we want to show you what that looks like, and it's a good idea if you haven't included a soil map in any other plan, this is a good place to include that.
So on this page, you start out and you click on the big green button, which starts the soil survey. And as this comes up, so what you're able to do then is you can type in an address. Oh, I know. There it goes. Okay. There it goes. Oh, come on. Don't go away. Okay, so this, for example, is bringing up my dad's home ranch. So you can see that the map zoomed into that specific spot, and then you can zoom in further by just clicking on the screen. And if you want, then you need to select an area of interest. So you just, I picked the rectangle, so you just draw it around the particular field. Most of the time you want to leave out buildings or other things that are not related to the particular block. But then it comes up with what block you've selected, and you can scroll back up and go to soil map, and it will tell you what soils are represented in that area. And then you can print out that particular map, and then if you go into the Soil Data Explorer and click on Soil Properties and Qualities, if you go to Soil Physical Properties, it'll give you available water capacity. And you put in your top and bottom depth, and I usually use 0 and 36 centimeters, and then you view the description, view the rating. And it will give you the rating of your particular soils on your piece of property. And you also can print this out and put it in your book.
Awesome. So that's a great resource available for free, and please take advantage of that if you have not done so already. And this available water capacity we will revisit in the next water management plan. So we'll just close that out. Okay, so you've got your soil map. Now you want to talk about your best management practices to minimize soil erosion. So you do want to describe your cover crop use. It may feel like you're talking about cover crops in a lot of your different plans, but cover crops are an important factor in soil erosion. So what types of cover crops are used, and are they in place year-round? Do you sometimes need to till the soil for certain reasons? So maybe we want to say soil tillage is used for frost protection, soil aeration, and vigor control. And so you describe, why you're tilling. And then do you use special equipment such as a ring roller to follow the tilling tractor, which will then lightly compress the soil to minimize wind erosion? Any practices that you use that are in favor of minimizing soil erosion, go ahead and list those under this section. And let's look. This is not a very long plan. This does not need to be super, super detailed. You don't have to include the soil map in this plan. You can include it in a different plan, but we just wanted to give you that option if you want help with describing your soils. And then, of course, at the end of every plan, we've got our review and update schedule. So when is the plan going to be reviewed? What's the review date? And then the signature and written names of everyone present during that review. So now we'll go, we can answer any questions on this plan. So to ask a question for those of you who are new, you have to click on the questions button on the pane for the webinar, and then you would type in your question, and then we can answer it. We also will have time for questions at the end. If there are no questions at this point, we'll just keep moving on. Okay, so we don't see any questions. Again, don't worry if you have a burning question, we can answer it at the end. So we'll move on to standard 5.1, the water management plan. This one says the farming operation has a written and implemented water management plan containing the following components: soil moisture management goals and strategies, soil water holding capacity, water intake rate, water permeability, irrigation suitability analysis of applied water, irrigation system design and performance, and a plan review and update schedule. And then it describes irrigation suitability further by saying irrigation suitability refers to a water panel analysis available from most labs. And I think most of you know what comes along with a water panel analysis. So here's a general example. With this plan, we actually wrote out what a real plan may look like instead of just asking questions. So this is Lodi Rules 5.1 at the top, water management plan. You always want to have your title up there. And again, you tell when the plan was written and updated, and you might even want to include who it was written by originally. So it's outlined, these headings are just like what is in the standard. So soil moisture management goals and strategies. Here we want to say to make the best use of our water resources through careful management and attention to detail. We strive for continuous improvement using annual metrics while optimizing water conservation and using deficit irrigation. Irrigation events are closely monitored and systems are maintained and repaired as needed. Cover crops are maintained year-round. Remember when we told you that cover crops are in almost all of your plants? Yes, attention is paid to developing grapevines throughout the season, noting any water stress, visual observations, water potential measurement, etc. And corrective action is based on vine needs. Daily weather forecasts are also taken into consideration. So you could have your goals and strategies doesn't need to be this long. You could actually probably sum that up easier, but just whatever you do to monitor your soil moisture, to manage it, and what are your goals for soil moisture. Then we want to talk about our challenges. So management challenges. This field has some water purity issues which can lead to decreased water penetration over time. Gypsum is added when necessary. Then we're going to talk about our water resource and use inventory. And depending on where you're located, this may look very different. So ours says the sources of irrigation water are a private groundwater well and surface water through the Woodbridge Irrigation District. After heavy winter rains, water supplies for our area are adequate for our needs, but conservation practices are still in place. All pumps have a backflow device and time of use meters. So then the soil water holding capacity. The root zone moisture holding capacity when full for our sandy loam soil with root depths at 4 feet ranges from approximately 4 to 6 inches per foot or 20 to 24 inches. Now if you want more information on soil water holding capacity and including a table that is broken out by root zone depth and soil type, Stan Grant, who's on our Lodi Rules committee and who's a viticultural consultant for this area, he has written a nice blog post on this. So we'll go ahead and show you that link really quickly. And again, this handout's available, so all of these links are available. You don't have to write anything down right now. So here's that coffee shop blog article. And down here is the table that I just used when making this water management plan example. So here's the different soil types, and then you can look by the root zone depth and tell the available moisture holding capacity. So just some further reading if you're interested. And again, like Sarah showed you, the soil available water capacity maps can also be downloaded for free from that USDA NRCS Web Soil Survey website. So then your soil water intake rate. Here we said, except in the case of excessive rains, water does not collect on the surface and soil water intake rate is adequate. Soil water permeability. Deep tillage was performed prior to planting to improve water storage capacity and conductance in the hopes to promote deep roots. No problems with permeability exist at this time. Irrigation suitability analysis of applied water. Irrigation suitability analyses are performed at least every 2 years, so that would be different for everybody, and actions are taken to adjust the water qualities based on the results of the analysis. The last analysis was performed in May of 2016, and the results are attached as part of Lodi Rules Standards 4.9 and 5.3. So you can see that you could get a lot more detailed here by describing how you adjusted the water quality, but it's okay to be basic just to get these plans going.
And as long as you have the analysis reports to show the auditor, that is what's stated here is plenty. And that's actually very similar to what we have stated in ours, because we don't go through and do complete plan updates every year. We just review it and we only change minor parts. And when you have a lot of tables or other things embedded, it makes it so that you have to do a lot more work annually to update the individual plans.
Good. So we are looking to increase your time management efficiency too.
Not make this too hard.
Yeah. So next, your irrigation system design, scheduling, and performance. So here's an example of what this might look like. Irrigation is applied through a drip system, and irrigation system flow and pressure are monitored at every irrigation. Action to repair the system, if needed, is taken immediately, and spare parts for the irrigation system are kept on hand. At least every 3 years, irrigation distribution uniformity is measured professionally. So it really just gets to the bottom of it. What type of system do you have for irrigation? And then how often do you perform maintenance? Okay, and then you're getting probably tired of hearing us say this, but then we've got our plan review and update schedule. So the plan will be reviewed and updated annually at the January management meeting with input from all relevant employees. Then you have your review date and your signatures. So, like I said, we weren't going to hold you too long before your dinner time on this Sunday evening, but if you have any questions about either the water management plan or your soil conservation plan, please go ahead and type those in now, and we're happy to answer those questions. And like I said, if you want to get in touch with Sarah to see how she coordinates the organization of several different blocks, she is a wealth of knowledge in that case. And also she's been doing it for a long time. So ask her any questions you have right now while we've got her. And then we do have 2 webinars coming up on Friday, April 21st from 9 to 10 a.m. We'll go over some of the Chapter 6 management plans. We'll also go over these monitoring records, which are a really important part of the Lodi Rules certification program. And on Wednesday, April 26th at 1 p.m., we'll go over the following Chapter 6 plans: the weed management plan, vertebrate management plan, and the spray dust drift management plan. So you can register for any of those sessions individually at the same website that is in the email about these webinars. And we'll go ahead and answer any questions if you have them now. We'll just hang around for the next 5 minutes or so, so feel free to look things over, and we'll be here until 5:30, so you can type in a question if you have any questions then. And if not, thank you for your attention on this Sunday evening, and good luck writing your plans and going through the process.
Good luck, everybody, and if you have any questions, please let us know.
Bye.